Hi, everybody. We're back in the thinking chair here. This is my thinking chair. Um, we're talking about drafting. We're talking about drafting today, which is, can be kind of challenging. So we'll talk about some drafting strategies. It's also why we're creating an outline, created perhaps at this stage. So, how do you go from outline to draft? There is a little bit of just practical advice here, which is like you really have to carve out the time to do it. You have to carve out also the space to do it, like physical space, space in your, and also like, metaphorical space in your schedule. I think of it as carving out time. It's hard for me. I'm busy. I teach, well, I don't know, sometimes 5 or 6 sections of classes, and I serve on committees, and I answer about 100 emails a day. And not, you can always email me. I'm just saying, I got a lot of things going on. It's hard to find time to write. What I do is I actually use my Outlook calendar and I block off chunks of time where it's like, that's my writing time. That works for me. Um, some people like to say, all right, I'm going to write 500 words a day and for 5 days in a row. And then at the end of that, do the math. You've got 2,500 words, roughly 3,000 words. That's a good, that's a good start to a draft of a chapter. And then you just have to embellish it and fill in some blanks and stuff like that. But, there's no way around it that the actual writing, the actual drafting of content can be kind of challenging, but if you need to sit down and just sort of do it. And it's hard for me too. It's why I haven't written 10 books. I've written like 2.5 books or something like that, and some other stuff too. But it's hard, right? It's like hard work, and you got to sit down, you got to do it. Some personal tips I found is like, go somewhere, take your laptop out in the woods where you won't have internet and you won't have anybody bothering you, and just write for an hour, write for 2 hours, just get it all out on the page. Okay. Now, all that said, or go sit in a coffee shop or a library or something. That said, it's really hard to write if you don't have an outline and if you don't have some ideas. You have to think through your topic first. You might need some notes. You might have to do some research. You might have to gather your sources. You probably will. You will have to it's not all just things in your head. It's like you're in conversation with other books, articles, ideas. What else has been written about your subject? You're incorporating sources. You're analyzing case studies. You're reviewing histories of the subject. You're putting other things into conversation with your book and with your writing. And so that's where your researcher instincts come in. That's where you're drawing on all your writing experience, your analysis experience. There are whole books written just like critiquing X, right? It's like the whole premise of the book is I disagree with this person's theory. I'm going to write a whole book about how much I disagree with them. Not that you have to do that here. It's just you put your writing in conversation with other writers, other thinkers, sources. You need that material as a writer. You can't just spontaneously generate a whole bunch of information from, the depths of your mind, typically. It's like you're putting it into conversation with other things. So take your outline, which should have some clearly defined sections, maybe 4 or 5, maybe more sections. And then you could even break those down even further, like what's going to go into each of those sections. I like the annotated outline method for that reason. Some people like to be a little more numerical or enumerated. I gave a couple examples of different outline styles there. So then it becomes the task of like filling in that outline. You're like you're expanding. You're You're bringing all the nuance, the stories, the ideas into those gaps that are left by the outline. So that's roughly the drafting process. How do I do it? Um, I tend to carve out big chunks of time, like 3 or 4 hours, and I've got all my notes, all my research, all my ideas, and then I just kind of go for it. And sometimes I break my outline in the drafting process. Not that I recommend doing that, but just the way that I write, I tend to go, "Oh, I forgot about this and I really want to write about that." And then I just allow the sort of movement to happen. I really like the theory of the shitty first draft. That's from Anne Lamott, a writing scholar. Some people like that, some people don't. It's the idea that just get it out on the page. You can always revise and edit later. It's Lamott's theory is that it's basically better to have something on the page that you can work with than nothing. That it destroys writer's block. If you just get the ideas out, just write, let it be shitty, let it be nothing, nonsense even if it's coming out, then it's content and then you can rework the content later. The downside to that method is that, well, then sometimes you have nonsense and like some real not good stuff on the page and then your revising and your editing process becomes really kind of laborious and especially challenging. So, I mean, I probably some middle ground between like structured outline and just getting it out on the page in a reasonable, sensible, logical way would probably be my recommendation. But on the other hand, maybe all of this is superfluous because you already have years of writing experience and you kind of know what your own methods are like. And every writer is different, and there's no right or wrong way to write. There's no right or wrong way to write. You can find your own method. But if you're really lost, then structure is going to help. Follow your outline, basically. And then if you get stuck, then do some more outlining, do some more reading, do some more researching, and you'll be fine. So there you go. Good luck with the drafting. Good luck with the writing. Start early because 5,000 6,000 words, they don't just appear overnight. You're gonna for real, you're gonna want to get cracking at that and get that kind of moving into some semblance of a draft, and it's fun. Have fun with it. Go to a coffee shop. Go to a library. Sit under a tree somewhere. Get away from your normal environment, and it'll probably just come very naturally if you have the time, if you have the space, you have the outline, you have some sources or some research to work with, you have your personal experience. Maybe in your outline you've identified a couple like personal stories or anecdotes or things you can bring into the text, and then it's just a matter of getting it on the page. All right, take care, everybody.